thing on.
Well, welcome in, everybody. It's Thursday night, so here at the Cut Podcast Network, that means it's the College Football Cut, 1 hour podcast where we talk about all college football. I'm your host tonight, Jerred at JT Spreads on Twitter. My co-host, Adam Mack. He is not here this evening, but that's okay. We called in the relievers here. We got Randy Hall. You might know him from some other podcasts here at the network. And then we have a guest with us, first-time appearance on the Cut. We got Eric Young. Boys, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Running producer, which is a little bit of a different call from our other shows with me and Christian, but I'm fine with it. No big deal, especially with only a couple buttons here. We're good.
You're doing a hell of a job so far because I had no clue what to do, so I'm glad we have you.
Christian puts in too many graphics, man. You know, that's we're good here.
Yeah. Eric, you're a new face, man. Would you mind giving yourself a little intro here?
Yep, sure. I'm from Lexington, Virginia. I'm a senior in college. I go to Butler University, and right now I intern with the Butler Athletic Department. I do a lot of their social media and working in the communications department.
Right on, man. And Eric is my older brother's future brother-in-law, so that basically makes us cousins, I think.
That basically does, yeah.
That's how that works. So
pretty sure.
Do the math. If you don't think about it, it makes sense.
Too late.
So thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me.
So tonight we will recap the conference championships that are all last week. We'll briefly talk about the Heisman finalists, and we're really diving into the bowl games. There's I think 42 bowl games this year, so we're obviously not going to provide a huge in-depth analysis on each game because that would take a few days, but we'll each make our own pick on each bowl game, and we should have a little fun with it. So starting off, conference championship games, guys. Let's see here. Starting with the American, Cincinnati. I think we all kind of saw that coming. They had a tougher opponent in Houston. You know, they didn't have a very tough schedule after the Notre Dame game, but luckily they had Houston there, another ranked opponent to finish off the year. What'd you guys think of that one?
Yeah, I think it really solidified Cincinnati's resume. They gave a ranked opponent. I don't think many people were too because there's the American. I don't think a lot of people were, happy that they're in it. But I mean, they beat Notre Dame, they beat Houston. Those are two quality teams. Houston's always known for their defense. So they were able to exploit that pretty well. So I think they should feel good about themselves going into the playoffs.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game really early, then the talent level kind of took over, it seemed like, late in the game. So deserved to be in the college football playoffs, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. At the beginning of the season, I don't think anybody would have predicted that the ACC championship game is going to consist of Pitt and Wake Forest. That was really surprising. A lot of people were thinking North Carolina was going to be the new hot dog there and beat out Clemson, and ended up being two unexpected teams all together. And Pittsburgh ended up edging them out. Kenny Pickett's invented a new fake slide, so that was great. Randy, what'd you think of that game?
I actually did get to watch a good amount of this one, and it was honestly, I thought it was a really fun game, especially during the time slot where a couple of the other ones started to get out of hand quick. This one was kind of hard fought throughout. That fake slide was nice, but it does invite a little bit of controversy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's that top level quarterback taking shine. I believe he actually accepted a bowl to the bid to the Senior Bowl today. So gonna see a lot of Pickett.
Yeah. Eric, you grew up in the heart of the ACC conference. What'd you think of this one?
Oh yeah, this is definitely not the matchup I expected, but Pitt's really proven all year with Kenny Pickett that they belong in that position. But I was more so impressed with their defense in that game. The fact they were able to only allow Wake I guess, under 30 points is pretty impressive. I was expecting 50-50 game, kind of like high scoring shootout. But so that's kind of my takeaway was defense was very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Big 12. That was a Big 12 game was pretty exciting. Came down to the wire there. Oklahoma State was at that point in time thought they were playing for a berth into the playoffs, but the way that the other conference championship games played out, they probably weren't going to get it anyways, but they were pretty close. Baylor ended up beating them out there. Baylor's been pretty exciting here at the tail end of the season, and I really thought Oklahoma State's defense was going to show up for this game, but it ended up being a different story. What did you guys think?
Yeah, so I guess Oklahoma's defense, they kind of got stuck in some pretty bad situations with the offense throwing those picks. So I think it was kind of impressive that Oklahoma State was able to battle from that back. They were down for like 2 scores, I think, for most of that game. So I was impressed with that. But I mean, Baylor, yeah, that's a complete team right there that really got itself together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the best goal line stands you're going to see in college football too to end the game, and what a chase down to end it.
Yep, absolutely. Big Ten, Michigan won the Big Ten title. I think, they were kind of maybe on the upset radar a little bit there going against Iowa, but maybe not. And I think, they really showed up, and they're deserving that number 2 spot right now, I think. What do you guys think of that Michigan-Iowa game?
Yeah, kind of the same as this Cincinnati game where it was a little bit closer early on, and then talent kind of prevailed. A few big plays for Michigan, arguably could be the 1 seed, but they're just playing really well. Senior laden team, they're all showing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would say I definitely expected this one to be a close one, but I mean, blowing them out like that, like I'm really impressed with Michigan. I really thought Ohio State was going to go in to Ann Arbor and dominate them in that matchup. So I think Michigan I think for me, they are the team to beat in the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm. Nice, absolutely. We'll buzz through these the remaining G5 ones. CUSA, University of Texas San Antonio. A couple weeks ago, they got upset by North Texas, ruined their perfect record, but showed up in the conference championship game. Had a pretty fun one against Western Kentucky, but ended up taking it. Mid-American, Northern Illinois, they beat Kent State, right? I believe was where that one was at. Sunbelt, Louisiana, they had a great year. Only lost 1 game this year, ended up winning the Sunbelt title. In the Mountain West, Utah State upset San Diego State. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming. San Diego State was really good this year. I think they came into the conference championship game with just 1 loss to BYU, if I remember correctly, that one was. And then going into the Pac-12, another team from Utah Utes. They beat Oregon twice this year, and I think it was a little unexpected the first time, but when you can beat a team twice in the same year, that really means something. What did you guys think of that Pac-12 championship?
I was just it was not even the same year, but the same fashion. I mean, they dominated that game start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it got out of hand pretty quick, and I just realized. I mean, I was expecting Oregon to keep it close, but then when I saw that, I was like, this is the same as we saw that earlier matchup in the season.
Yeah.
Yep, clearly the better team. Yeah, there was really no question going into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last one, the big one, the SEC championship game. There's a lot of talk about how awesome Georgia's been all year, obviously, and they've proved it, and how great that defense has been. And, even myself the week prior, I said I didn't think Alabama was going to be able to win this game, but boy, did they. And in a big fashion, there was a need to win now type of game for Alabama. Otherwise, with the 2-loss Alabama, they probably weren't going to make the playoffs, and everything kind of unfolded how we thought it would as far as the rankings go after this game, with Alabama getting that number 1 spot. What did you guys think of that SEC game?
So, yeah, Bryce Young put on quite the performance. I mean, Georgia, I think Georgia, for me, they got a little bit overhyped in that Clemson win week 1. I just really don't think Clemson was as good. I mean, of course they weren't as good as everyone's saying, but I really think that offense was nowhere near where it is at this point in the season for Clemson. So I don't value that win as much as a lot of people do, I think. So, I mean, Alabama, they always win the must-win game, so not surprising there when you think about it. But, yeah, I did expect Georgia's defense to keep it closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a little bit more of a shocker. I thought it'd be probably a lower scoring game, Georgia offense not being this super explosive thing, and Bama just dominated. It looked like they came to play, and Georgia really didn't after about the first quarter, I'd say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that is a quick recap on all the conference championship games there. We'll kind of brush over the Heisman finalists here. I think two of them were pretty obvious, that being Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama, and CJ Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State. And then Kenny Pickett, their quarterback from Pitt. We talked about him a little bit already. He made the cut there for Heisman finalists. And then last but certainly not least, a defensive player, Aiden Hutchinson, plays edge for Michigan. He made the top 4 there for the Heisman finalists. Randy, who do you have here for the Heisman finalists? Who do you think is going to take home the trophy?
I'm going to give it to Bryce Young right now. I think Hutchinson has been ultra impactful. It's just so rare for them to give it to the defensive guy. I think this is a year that they could, but it's just one of those I'm not quite sure they'll actually do it. And with the other two not being in the college football playoff, I think it probably ends up kicking them out of the argument when Young, especially after this last game, kind of dominated.
Yep. Absolutely. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Bryce Young put on that performance against Georgia. There's no way. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is doing so well this year, and like it would be great to be given to a defensive player, but I don't know, Bryce Young. Like, how can you, after what he did to Georgia, like how can you give it to somebody else?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, he's been at the top of the board the majority of the season, and when you can cap your season with a game like that in the conference championship game against, at the time, the number 1 team in the nation, it's hard to rule you out from winning the Heisman. So I think he's probably going to be everybody's favorite, but we'll see when that vote is. I don't have the date in front of me. Is that this Saturday?
You have some great questions.
Monday? Man, I thought you guys were going to be taking notes before you showed up, but
okay.
We'll start looking now.
You barely got here, JT.
Yeah.
I think it's the 11th, so this Saturday.
Okay, this Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch. For some reason I thought they voted after the first round of playoffs, but I was way off. I don't know what I was thinking, because I was like, man, if Aiden Hutchinson has a big game and Michigan makes it to the championship, maybe he'll win it. But I was way wrong. So forgive me for that.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it makes sense though, because you get through almost every bowl game at that point.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how it should be, but
I wish it was
at one point.
Yeah, I wish it was an award that was done after all the games have been played, because you think about a 20, 21-year-old kid just won the Heisman, and he's still got 2 more games left to play. Assuming that it's a guy that's in the playoffs. That's a lot of weight on your back. But I guess that if you're winning the Heisman, you're the type of guy that can handle that. So.
Yep.
Okay, so that was our quick recap there on the Heisman finalists and our picks there. Before we dive into bowl games, we do have one game this weekend. All right, we got the Army-Navy game this weekend. Forget where. Do you guys know where it's at? I should have known this. I'm so sorry, guys.
Is it in Philadelphia?
Let me get him right here. East Rutherford, New Jersey is where they're playing at. MetLife Stadium.
Oh, God.
Navy's had a tough go this year. Really tough go. They're 3-8.
Past couple of years.
Yeah, they're 3-8. Army's 8-3. I like the Black Knights here. I'm definitely going to try to watch the game, but I'm pretty sure Black Knights are going to handle it pretty handedly. Where are you guys at with this one?
Yep, the same way. I mean, it's kind of crazy that Army can score so many points just running the ball the whole game. I just think that's so impressive. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even more so this year. So yeah, Navy really got off to a bad start. I think they got a couple wins towards the end of the season, but yeah, there's no chance it's close.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to pick Army. I mean, even if you want the upset, if you're more of a Navy person or a Navy family, there's a chance they can keep it close. I just don't think so.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really enjoyed this game though, because all the students from the respective academies show up and they're all dressed up nice, and it's a pretty exciting game. Well, hopefully it will be an exciting game, but it's got a lot of meaning behind it. So that's what college football is all about. All right, we're gonna dive into our bowl games now. We got, I think it's 42 different bowl games, so we got 84 different teams to talk about here. So not super in-depth analysis on each game, because obviously we want to get our picks in, breeze through past all of them. We'll start off with the earlier games here that are going to kick off on December 17th, and then we'll eventually get into the New Year's 6 games, and then into, of course, the playoffs. So starting off, first one off the board, and probably the one that most teams actually want to go to, is the Bahamas Bowl. Of course, played in the Bahamas. We got Middle 10. They went 6-6 this year out of Conference USA, and they're playing against Toledo. They went 7-5 out of the MAC. Randy, who do you got, man?
I gotta go Toledo. Friends from Toledo. They've also looked really good this year. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, Deontay Johnson doesn't have this great game going tonight, but I'm sure he would pick them.
Yep.
Eric? I'm going up. Yep, Toledo as well. I watched a couple Mid-Tennessee State games and not impressed at all. I mean, I think they were pretty lucky to be in a bowl game, to be honest, especially going to the Bahamas. That's nice. But yeah, Toledo, I mean, they kept it close against Notre Dame, so that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Should have won, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next one, we got Northern Illinois, and we got Coastal Carolina playing in the Cure Bowl down in Orlando. Northern Illinois, they're the MAC champions, went 9-4, and then we got Coastal Carolina. They went 10-2 this year. I just really like Coastal Carolina. I like the way they play. A lot of fun to watch. And I know you guys weren't on this podcast, but we didn't really talk about Northern Illinois or the MAC a whole lot this year. Some decent teams coming out of there, but obviously not a very highly praised conference, even coming from the G5 schools. But I like Coastal Carolina. Eric, where are you at, man?
I'm actually liking Northern Illinois, surprisingly.
Okay.
I know Northern Illinois kind of got off to a rough start against Wyoming. I mean, giving up 50 points right away, and they were down by like 30 most of that game. But they looked like amazing last week, and I mean, they had to battle the mullets there with Rocky Lombardi. So Coastal's had some close games against Buffalo, who's also a MAC team. So I'll take Northern Illinois here just because of their offense.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go Coastal simply for weapons, like NFL caliber weapons. And if they all play, that is. If they don't, then I think this might go more towards Northern Illinois. But as of now, we don't know anything about people sitting out.
Right. And I bet Coastal's probably pretty excited because I know their coach, Jamie Chadwell, was one that was really talked about getting a new job with this whole carousel going on. But that's really, really slowed down now. So I bet they're pretty happy to have retained him. All right, moving on. Boca Raton Bowl, Western Kentucky at a Conference USA. We just talked about them. They lost in the Conference USA Championship against the Roadrunners, and they're playing Appalachian State out of the Sun Belt. Went 10-3 this year. Eric, we'll start off with you, man. Who do you got here?
I have Appalachian State, just purely because of their defense. I mean, even though they couldn't pull out the win against Louisiana, I was still really impressed. I mean, they've scored, I think, they've only given up like 15 points in their past 5 games. But I mean, Zappy's a good quarterback over the Western Kentucky. I just think that App State defense is too good.
Yep, I'm with you.
With you as well. I think this might end up being a little bit more higher scoring game with that quarterback firepower on the other side, but I think they'll get a big player too to seal it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at now over under 67.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win over that. Zappy, I mean, he's just hucket chucket football this year, man. I think he leading the nation in passing yards. So pretty great stuff there. New Mexico Bowl, we got UTEP out of Conference USA. They went 7-5 this year, and then Fresno State 9-3 out of the Mountain West. Randy, who do you like here, man?
I'm just gonna go. I'm going UTEP. It's just, it's kind of what I'm feeling. I know they're not as good a team, but Fresno State's had coaching turnover and a couple other things kind of go wrong here. Right. So I'm gonna take the team that's still intact. Gotcha.
Yep. That's a valid point. I'm still going to go Fresno State because their pass defense is pretty incredible, honestly. And then it all kind of depends on if Jay Kaner plays. I know there was some talk of him transferring to Washington, but I've heard he's coming back now. So that if he's playing, I mean, obviously it's kind of a situation he might not. But if he's playing, I think they rout him by 2 scores.
Yeah, I thought I saw that he was in the portal and not playing, but I mean.
Yeah, I think he it's like 2 hours ago or something. He took it back. Yeah.
So much
definitely
to keep
contributes
up
to the pick for me. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah, those are all good points, and that's one thing that I was thinking about a lot too. When when I was going through these bowl games is coaching retention and how much that's going to affect some of these teams. We'll get into it later, but I think some teams it's been a positive change for them, and others it might be a big hit, like Fresno State losing their coach to Washington. So, I'm a Mountain West guy. I like Mountain West teams, and I'm gonna go with Fresno State this game. Okay, Independence Bowl. We got number 13 BYU went 10-2 this year. They're an independent football program going against UAB, who went 8-4 out of CUSA. This one was a really easy choice for me. I like BYU all the way in this one. Where are you at, Randy?
Yeah, I'm also taking BYU by at least a touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going BYU as well. Secondary has some holes, but that D-line up front can stop the run and make UAB one-dimensional.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Randy, you said by a touchdown. That's about perfect because the line's at 6.5 right now at the source I'm looking at. So you're right in there. Lending Tree down in Mobile, Alabama. We got Eastern Michigan 7-5 out of the MAC go against Liberty, who went 7-5. They're also independent. I like Liberty here. I think they've got a pretty strong coach. I believe his name's Hugh Freeze, right? And he was coaching in the SEC just not that long ago. He unfortunately ran into some issues down there and was fired and then relocated himself. But Liberty, they've really been catching some wind here the last couple of years, and that program's getting pretty strong. So I like Liberty in this one. How about you, Eric?
Yep, Liberty as well. I'm not too far from Lynchburg where Liberty's located, so I've been watching them. Malik Willis, unbelievable athlete. I think he's one of the top 5 NFL QB prospects, at least as of the beginning of the season. I'm not sure how that kind of panned out, but they're a lot better than their record, and they played a tough schedule being an independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Liberty too. I think Willis needs a huge standout game here. There's a lot of question marks going into the draft process for him. There's a lot of questions he needs to decide on his future really quick here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next one. Moving on to LA Bowl, obviously in Los Angeles, California. We got Utah State, the Mountain West champs, going against Oregon State out of the Pac-12. And this is one of the reasons why I love the bowl games, because you get some crossover between G5 and Power 5. So this one, I'm suspecting will be a pretty exciting game. Like I said before, I like the Mountain West teams. I got Utah State in this one. Where you at, Randy?
Man, I got Oregon State edging out barely. I think it's one of those like last second touchdown, last second field goals kind of thing.
Sure.
Justin Rice, if he's going to be making big plays in this game, I think I could change my mind mid-game there, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm taking Utah State purely. I'm a big momentum fan going into bowl games, so I'm going to take momentum with that big, huge win over San Diego State, shutting down that run game. So Utah State.
Absolutely, right on. Next one I got here is the New Orleans Bowl. I was really looking forward to talk about this one because co-host Adam Mack, he went to grad school at Marshall. He's a big fan of the Herd, so we could have got a lot of in-depth analysis on this one from him. But at the same time, I'm also glad he's not here because I think Louisiana Raging Cajuns are going to take this one. Number 23, Louisiana went 12-1, won the Sun Belt, which is Marshall's future conference coming up here soon. Marshall went 7-5 in CUSA. Didn't quite make that championship game because they lost Western Kentucky at the end of the year. But I like the Raging Cajuns in this one, beating out the Herd. How about you, Eric?
Yep, same for me as well. They just a 12-1 team versus 7-5. That's hard to pick an upset there on that one. And Appalachian State's a great team, and they really, it was like a 1 to 2 score game for most of that. So Louisiana. Well,
I always root for my friends, so we're going Marshall here because Adam can't be here. We're going Marshall.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna hear some shit from Adam on that one. Do you guys think Billy Napier? He was the head coach for Louisiana, got the job at Florida, correct?
Yeah.
You think that's going to have any effect on them in this bowl game?
I'm hoping for this pick.
Yeah.
I really do. I think losing your coach is enormous, especially because the next guy is usually not someone that's still on the staff there. Like the Notre Dame situation, is a rare situation in college football, and if it was in the NFL as well. So
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of people not knowing what their next step is in Louisiana.
right.
So I think Marshall can capitalize.
Yep,
Jerred,
absolutely.
you played college football, so do you think that really has a true impact, like the coaching change for a bowl game, or what's your opinion on that?
So, so for clarification, I played D3 and NAIA, so I never played in a bowl game or anything like that. And I was pretty lucky because we kept the same head coach throughout. I mean, obviously some of the coordinators and stuff moved on, especially at that lower level football. A lot of guys use the programs as a platform to jump off of to go somewhere else. And it really just depends on, especially if it's a head coach, it just depends on if the athletes like him or not. Is the biggest thing. If it was a surprise move and if they really liked him, there might be some issues there. Like that's probably more so like with the Lincoln Riley ordeal, leaving Oklahoma, going to USC, because that was a big shock. They're having issues in that. It seems like in that community right now with the backlash. But then like Randy, what you mentioned with the Notre Dame deal, it seemed like everything was hunky dory with Brian Kelly, but now that he's left, it's like, hold on, we got Marcus Freeman. Our guys love him. That's fine. So it really just depends upon his reputation with the team there, and you'll be able to tell once he's gone what the reaction is.
Yep.
Yeah. So and I don't know how things are with Louisiana right now. I haven't dug into that too much, but
I will say I'm not quite sure of Napier's like play calling, what he did for this offense, but knowing how that changed midseason. I mean, look at the Raiders. They're so up and down because they don't know what's going on at their offense right now because it's not their actual play caller. So it's a huge issue for teams. And I know they have some time to get it, but this is an early bowl game.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, next one. We got Myrtle Beach. Tulsa, 6-6 out of the American. This is, I think, the only second team we've seen out of the American. Or no, first one out of the American we've seen so far. Going against Old Dominion out of the CUSA. Both teams 6-6. I don't know a whole lot about either school here. So with that being the case, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Eric and see what he has to say about this one.
Yeah, so being from Virginia, I've watched a little bit of Old Dominion, but again, they didn't really have any impressive wins this year. I think they only beat like one team who's in a bowl game. So I think Tulsa has the better resume. So purely based on that, I'm going Tulsa. And I don't really think Old Dominion's they just got in because of an FCS win over Hampton.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Tulsa's probably the better team, but both teams can run the ball really well. And I'm just going to go Old Dominion, like a 24-21 type bowl, where it's just grinded out and whoever has the ball last might just win it.
I hope so. That'll be exciting. Okay, we're already up to December 21st now. First one of that day will be the famous Idaho Potato Bowl in Boise. We got Kent State, went 7-6 this year, runner-up in the MAC, and they're going against Wyoming Cowboys, 6-6 out of the Mountain West. Eric, you went to a football game in Laramie this year. What do you think about the Pokes, man?
I did. I'm gonna have to. It's kind of an issue there in Laramie with the quarterback controversy. Really, offense is up and down. Their defense is quite good, especially the run defense. Holding Fresno State to 17 points. But yeah, you never know what Wyoming offense you're gonna get. And so Kent State, they're a team with a good offense. Wyoming team with a bad offense. So for that, I'm gonna go Kent State, but it'll be a close one.
Yeah. I think this is a coin flip, just like the last one. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Wyoming was like 4-0, and then now they've got together to get 6-6.
Yep.
So we really don't know what team we're getting there. Kent State had a disappointing end of their season, so I'm going to go Wyoming. We'll see. It truly is a coin flip for me on this. Yeah. This is crazy.
Yeah,
I think either Wyoming's getting blown out by 30 or they win by like a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because that's what's funny is right because Wyoming went 4-0 to start the season, then they went 2-6 the rest of the way. Well, one of those two wins was against Utah State, the team that won the Mountain West. So you just really don't know what Wyoming team's going to show up. And I'm like I said, I like Mountain West teams. I'm going to bet we're going to get the good Wyoming team, and they'll win the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. All right, we're moving on to Frisco, Texas. We got UTSA Roadrunners, CUSA conference champions, against the number 24 ranked San Diego State, who ended up being the Mountain West runners-up. I think as far as these lower bowl games go and a game that's just 2 G5 teams, I think this one's going to be really exciting. Both teams did really well this year. They both lost a couple games that maybe they shouldn't have. I mean, Utah State was pretty tough, but San Diego State, losing to them in the conference championship, they probably should have took that game. UTSA, they lost to North Texas, I believe is their second to last game of the regular season, but obviously still made it the conference championship game and won it. But for me, like I said, Mountain West guy, I still like the Aztecs here. I think they're going to take it.
Jerred, I don't think there's any way that the Mountain West wins all these bowl games, but
hey, I'm all in, man.
Go like 6-0.
I'm all in, man. Just watch.
That's why I had to pick Kent State in that last one. But this one, I've watched a couple UTSA games, so I'm gonna go UTSA. Dual threat quarterback there. And with Frank Harris and San Diego State runs the ball, I just don't think you can keep up with that kind of passing attack from UTSA.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerred's about to have the scariest parlay bet ever. Just trying to get all these in here.
I should go make that. I should.
Might as well, man, at this point. I'm going UTSA as well. As long as I think Sincere McCormick plays, I love that talent going to the next level. And I think he can help them win.
Perfect. So speaking of a parlay, Eric, you're in Indiana where it is legal for sports betting.
It is. That is
have
correct.
you are you going to partake in any of that for these games, or have you seen any crazy lines or anything?
Yeah. So when I went through the notes, right, I didn't know there were spreads out or anything, and so I went through and I was like looking online to see if I'd missed any bowl games or anything, and like any new information about who was out, and all the spreads were there, and I was like, oh my god, I picked all favorites. So now I was like a little concerned there. So I know. Like some of them were surprising. I'm not sure we gotten any of the surprising ones yet, but I think like UTSA, if I remember correctly, they were like a 7-point favorite. It's like off the top of my head, but they are out though.
Gotcha. Right on, man. Right on. Are you able to do this in Ohio, Randy?
It actually just got passed like this week, so our governor has to sign it. So probably early 2022, it'll be legal. So all the people that are doing it illegally right now are very happy.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. So this last July in South Dakota, it got approved. Sports betting did, but it only got approved in one town, which is a big. It's not a big town. It's a casino town, is all it is. It's called Deadwood, South Dakota. There was a gold rush there back in the 1800s, and all this gambling and everything started there. Yeah, So you can legally do sports betting in South Dakota, but it has to be done at a Deadwood casino. So I can't download a sports book like FanDuel Sportsbook and make a bet. I have to actually physically go to Deadwood to do it, which isn't that bad of a deal because it's only like an hour drive for me, and it's a fun place anyways. But so a little fun tidbit about South Dakota there for you.
Jerred, I think we'll be there in March, right? Possibly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my brother's bachelor party. That's right. God. So long as your sister doesn't kick him to the curb before then.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, December 22nd, we're on to the Armed Forces Bowl down in Fort Worth, Texas. We got Army, who we talked about a little bit ago, 8-3, going against Missouri, 6-6 out of the SEC. Like I said before, these are bowl games. It gets a little exciting when Army's independent. They're not necessarily a G5 school, but they're playing against a Power 5 school, Missouri, out of the SEC. And for me, I think Army's going to win this game. Where are you at, Randy?
Yeah, I'm just going to roll with Army. Missouri kind of gets run on a ton, and Army's played a lot of really good teams really tight. I think they pull out a win here.
Yep, I'm going Army as well. If I remember correctly, I think Army has like a 1-point favorite in this game. But yeah, Missouri just got a lot of their wins over bottom feeders in the SEC, Vanderbilt and South Carolina. And of course, I'm going to reiterate this again. I mean, Army put up 56 points against Wake Forest, so that's honestly one of the main reasons I'm picking them.
Yeah,
should have won. I mean, a ridiculous game. They played Wisconsin tight too, so it's just I think they got a better pedigree getting into this one.
Okay, moving on to the Frisco Classic, the second bowl game in Frisco, Texas. We got Miami of Ohio.
Get mixed up.
Yeah. Miami of Ohio, 6-6 out of the MAC against North Texas, 6-6 out of Conference USA. I look at a matchup like this and I think, man, there's way too many bowl games.
That's fair.
Eric, you mentioned momentum's a big thing earlier,
Yep.
and as a few weeks ago, but North Texas did upset UTSA. So I got North Texas in this game. Where are you at, Eric?
I'm gonna say too many MAC teams in these bowl games. So I picked a lot of MAC teams to win.
Yeah.
So I have to go with North Texas as well. Don't know too much about them yet, other than that upset win. So I'm just gonna ride with them.
Yeah, roll with North Texas too. They, I believe, finished off with a 5-game win streak, and I think that just continues. Miami hasn't had a bowl win since like 2010 or something crazy. So
Perfect. This next one, I'm really excited about, and I would like to know who the people are that set up these bowl games, because I think they're a little sick and twisted. All right, because the Gasparilla Bowl down in Tampa, Florida, they got Florida 6-6 out of the SEC. University of Florida Gators going against the University of Central Florida Golden Knights. They went 8-4 out of the AAC. Florida's on an off year. They lost their head coach, and they got them going against UCF. And, Central Florida had a pretty good season. Nothing like, however, a handful of years ago when they had that self-proclaimed championship run. Florida's got a lot on the line with this one. They have to win this game, right?
Yeah, I think so, and I think they barely do it. I mean,
yeah,
I think they sneak it out. I'm not like ultra impressed by UCF this year.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever heard of this bowl game, so it feels like they just made this up for this game specifically.
Yeah, they wanted this game to happen, right? Kick them while they're down.
I think if all that coaching, like that turmoil, kind of means as much as we kind of think it does, then I think you have to go UCF, at least in my opinion.
Sure.
I think that this bowl game is probably the least of their concerns in Florida right now. I think the future, I'm not too sure if they're too passionate about this one, but they gave up 52 points to Samford, a kind of middle of the pack FCS team in the Southern Conference, and then just got blown out by South Carolina. So
right. So Florida's had quite the quarterback battle throughout the whole year. Do you guys know which quarterback going to be starting this game?
No, I don't think they do.
All right. Maybe that's probably the better bet is which quarterback can start for Florida that is going to win this game.
I mean, I think the best bet's on UCF because I'm pretty sure Florida's like a 7.5 point favorite. There's no way.
Yeah. I was going to look at it here really quick.
I also think like Florida kind of caught Alabama at a good time, I guess. I mean, that was Alabama would go on to lose to Texas A&M pretty soon after that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Kind of inflated them a bit. Yeah,
no kidding. Yeah, I got what I'm looking at. Florida's an 8.5 point favorite right now, and if you're betting on the spread, if it were me, I would take Central Florida to cover that.
Oh yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. December 24th, Christmas Eve, boys. We are in Honolulu, Hawaii, with Memphis went 6-6 out of the American, playing against Hawaii 6-7 out of the Mountain West. Randy, who do you like here, Memphis or Hawaii?
Yeah, I think this is another one of those really tight games. I'm going to go Memphis slightly over. I'm pretty sure Hawaii's like 4-2 at home, so obviously it's definitely better for them there. And there's not this like weird layover once you get there and all that. And they're already home for Christmas Eve. I think they have some advantages there, but I'm still going to take Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go Memphis as well. Just because Hawaii had to play 13 games to get into a bowl game. First off, second of all, they beat Wyoming pretty bad, which you'd think would be impressive. But as we talked about earlier, I really don't think you can really value that a Wyoming win is like, I don't know, a blowout, especially like you never just really know what kind of team you're going to get there. So I'm going to go Memphis. But Jerred, honestly, I'm more interested in your pick because it's a Mountain West.
This might surprise you. So look, here's my thought. So obviously, you know how I feel about Mountain West teams, at least during these bowl games, right? So if I play for Memphis, I'm like, all right, we got the Hawaii Bowl, we're going to Honolulu. I'm not thinking about the football game. I'm thinking about all the sandy beaches and all the fun I'm going to have out there while I'm there, and the school's paying for it, right? So I got Hawaii because it's just going to be, business as usual. Another home game. I got Hawaii winning this game.
You've talked your way into picking another Mountain West team.
That was an accident.
In fairness, this one had a lot of home field advantage, just like he's talking about.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
This one may be the most valid one yet.
There's a method to the madness, guys. Okay, Christmas Day. We got Ball State 6-6 out of the MAC against Georgia State 7-5 out of the Sun Belt. It is the Camellia Bowl down in Montgomery, Alabama. Eric, who do you like here, man?
I like Georgia State. Big fan of head coach Sean Elliott. Taking them to 3 straight bowl games. Panthers probably should have beaten Auburn earlier this year, but got very unlucky and given up the game-winning score on 4th and 9 with 45 seconds left. And then it's a defense-heavy team, forces a lot of turnovers. How can you bet against turnovers? I got Georgia State and a team and Ball State that probably doesn't belong in a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going Georgia State as well. They had a really good chance of beating Louisiana. I think they're a good team.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm with you guys. With just looking at the conferences alone, the Sun Belt is much more competitive than the MAC. Ball State went 500 this year coming out of the MAC. Georgia State had a winning record, and the Sun Belt's just going to continue to get better here in the next few years too. But looking at this year alone, I got Georgia State in this game too. Right.
I'd say in the next 2 years, Georgia State wins a Sun Belt championship. So hold me to that.
You think so? Next couple of years?
Next 2 years, yep.
Next 2 years. All right, man. I'm going to remember that.
All right.
All right. December 27th, moving on. We got the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit, Michigan. Western Michigan 7-5 out of the MAC against Nevada, 8-4 out of the Mountain West. So I got a big surprise for you guys. So I'll let you go first, Randy.
I don't like that. But I'm also with you on this one, so you're good. If you think I'm picking against me and Christian's boy Carson Strong, as long as he plays, this is a win for Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I got Nevada as well. But I feel like, man, the Mountain West, it's a hard league to pick who's going to win. It's just so up and down with there's blowouts all the time. It doesn't really make sense, and this could be one of those games. Western Michigan's not a bad team, but yeah, I just have to go with Nevada.
No, they're a good team, and we've talked about it already. Nevada's coach is leaving. It's just it's almost a home game too for them. Yep. And when you have that NFL first-round caliber, maybe most likely second-round caliber. I'm not going to speak ahead of myself yet, but he's still very, very good. I think he's got a lot of tools.
Yeah, absolutely. Nevada lost their head coach, Coach Norville. He, for some reason, wants to go take that job at Colorado State, Colorado State's had some pretty rough seasons these last couple of years. I know first week this season they lost the FCS school, South Dakota State, which I was very excited about. But that's not what you want to see for a school that invests so much into their football program within the Mountain West. You don't want to see that happen. And maybe that's what drove Coach Norville to go to Colorado State, is just how great of the facilities and the backing that the football program has. But he's gone. But either way, same reasons that you guys talked about. And for my biggest reason of I just like the Mountain West, I got Nevada winning this game. So
wait, the home field advantage for Western Michigan doesn't come into play now?
Not this time. It doesn't, because it's still Michigan. That's
true.
All right, the Military Bowl in Annapolis. We got ECU 7-5 out of the American going against Boston College 6-6 out of the ACC. Randy, what do you think, man?
Yeah, this is a really weird one. I think it's going to end up being a really close game, but I'm going to go Boston College. I think it's more of a coin flip for me. I really don't have a lot of verification for this one. Right. But I'll take the ACC team here. I'm not really impressed by ECU this year.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Really tough game to pick. I definitely would never bet on this one. I recommend nobody bet on this game because there's no way you can predict how this one turns out. We have to go Boston College. Quarterback's back, so yeah, BC ACC team.
Yep. I'm with you guys too. This is another one of those ones where it's a crossover between G5 and Power 5, but I think it's probably still a pretty level playing field for these two programs, but I think Boston College is going to get it. All right, here we go. This one should be pretty exciting too. We're at the Birmingham Bowl, obviously in Birmingham, Alabama. Number 20, Houston. They went 11-2 this year out of the American. Runner-ups in the American, lost to Cincinnati, and they're going against Auburn, 6-6 out of the SEC. Auburn all year has been hit or miss. I mean, obviously they looked pretty all right in the Iron Bowl, had a tough one with Alabama, but other times they've just been pretty shabby, not that great. Houston's been pretty consistent all year, but that's something you can expect from the conference that they play in. But I'm going to roll the dice here, and I think Houston's going to get the win here. Where are you at, Randy?
I want to pick Houston so bad. It's almost a home game for Auburn as well.
Yeah,
they're not a great offense, but that defense is pretty stout. I think it's going to be like a 2014, 2017 game with Houston having every chance to win this. But unless they create turnovers, I think they're going to end up just being slightly short.
Sure. Eric?
I'm gonna go Houston here. Definitely a close one. Definitely, I don't think I'd bet on this one, but Auburn does have a good defense, but I just can't get over that they should have lost to Georgia State, and I think Houston's not as bad as I think like they kind of look bad now because they got smacked a little bit by Cincinnati, but I mean I really don't think they're that bad of a team.
To be fair, I think if Houston scores like 28 points, I think they win this.
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's possible. It's where I'm looking at now. Auburn's favored by 3, and over/unders at 51. I don't have implied totals in front of me, but I think it's definitely possible that Houston could score 28.
I'm smashing the under for my pick there. Easy.
Okay, First Responder Bowl, University Park, Texas. We got Louisville, which oddly enough, they on this podcast this whole season they've been pretty quiet. I don't know if we've even talked about Louisville at all, but they went 6-6 out of the ACC. They're going against Air Force, 9-3 out of the Mountain West. We'll start off with you, Eric. Who do you got here?
I'm gonna go Louisville here. Cunningham's a good quarterback. I'm not too sure. Like Air Force, they were not good at the beginning of the year, but I guess somehow they pulled together. I haven't really paid much attention to them, so let's just go with Louisville.
Yeah, I'm going Air Force, man. They have 3 losses, but it's like below 20 points combined for those losses, and I'm not sure I'm not sure Louisville really handles this triple option that well. And Cunningham is really explosive. I think he gives them a great chance. I think this is probably a game that hits the over, and I'll just take Air Force.
Yep, I'm with you, man. I like Air Force in this one too. Okay, we're gonna go Mountain West. We're gonna go rapid fire through a few of them here because I don't want us to be cut short on time for some of these bigger games. So we'll just knock off a few of them here really quick. Holiday Bowl, we got UCLA against NC State. Randy, who do you like there?
Gonna go NC State.
Eric?
Close game.
NC State as well. Defense too good.
Nice. Like it. I'm with you guys, NC State. Liberty Bowl, Texas Tech had the Big 12 against Mississippi State out of the SEC. So we're getting into some Power 5 games here. Eric, who do you like there in the Liberty Bowl?
Mississippi State. Wouldn't bet on it, though.
Randy?
Same thing. I go Mississippi State.
Yeah. I'm going to go Texas Tech just to tell you guys I'm right and you're wrong. Guaranteed Rate Bowl down in Phoenix. We got Minnesota 8-4 out of the Big 10. Kind of hit or miss this year. Going against West Virginia out of the Big 12. Randy, who do you like there?
Yeah, I'm just going to go Minnesota in a really low-scoring game.
Yeah.
I'm going to Minnesota as well. West Virginia's having a pretty bad collapse. I don't think too many people are happy there over in Morgantown.
Yep, I'm with you guys. I like Minnesota too. Fenway, we got Virginia 6-6 out of the ACC. They played some pretty exciting football this year. They had another QB throwing big bombs. They're at Brennan Armstrong going against SMU out of the AAC. Went 8-4. They lost their coach this year. Eric, who do you like this game?
SMU UVA secondary is atrocious, so I think SMU capitalizes on that.
There you
go. Same thing. I'm going SMU like 37-34, something crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be
Some fun
something pretty
ones.
wild. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys too. I like SMU. Pinstripe Bowl in New York, New York. We got Virginia Tech, so I'm pretty sure our guy that grew up in Virginia's got something about this one too. Playing against Maryland out of the Big Ten. We'll start it off with Randy. Who do you like here?
I'll go with Virginia Tech. Maryland hasn't been. They've been a little up and down, but not impressive at all this year.
Sure.
I'm gonna be a surprise here. I know I'm a Tech fan, but I got Maryland. This one, there's too many players opting out and transferring right now. So JC Price really motivates the guys, but I don't think nothing's happening there with Tech.
Yeah, they does Maryland still got Tulia Tagovailoa?
Yeah,
he's
still playing.
Yep.
Yeah, I got.
VT's a better team on paper. It's just what does that paper get shredded? I don't know.
Yeah, they've got. Right. I think it's like we're up to 6 starters now out. So in a already depleted defense too.
Yeah. I like Maryland here. I think they'll take it. All right, going with the Cheez-Its Bowl. We got some interesting matchups here, but we're still going to buzz through these ones so that way we can get into the bigger New Year's 6 games. We got number 19 Clemson. Kind of had a disappointing season, but they still finished 9-3. So I mean that's not awful. It just doesn't meet the Clemson standards, right? Playing against Iowa State, 7-5 out of the Big 12. Randy, who do you like here, man?
I'm going to go Clemson. I think Brock Purdy cost them the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Clemson as well. They're playing really well right now, and DJ's got together.
Mm-hmm. Is he going in the transfer portal? Did I see that correct?
I do not know.
I don't. So we can research. I will research that while we go to the next pick.
Okay. All right. You look that up. All right. Alamo Bowl. We got Oklahoma and Oregon. I think this one might be pretty good. It should be pretty interesting. Oregon obviously had that defeat in the Pac-12 championship against Utah. Oklahoma didn't even make it to the Big 12 game. They lost with Lincoln Riley. I bet all those guys that are sticking around, they probably feel like they got a lot to prove. So I like Oklahoma there in the Alamo Bowl. Where are you at, Randy?
Yeah, both teams losing coaches, so nothing really to go off of there.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, going off the young gun talent of Williams, I'm going Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's good. Eric?
Yeah, same there. Could be a really ugly game just because both these teams are played pretty ugly all year, honestly. But I'm just going to stick with Oklahoma just because of the quarterback situation there.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Duke's Mayo Bowl. Don't people bring big jars of mayo to this game and eat them with spoons?
Boy, do I hope so.
Such a North Carolina thing, right, Eric? Man.
It is the best mayo, that's for sure.
So we got the North Carolina Tar Heels against South Carolina. I think the Tar Heels are going to win this game. I don't know if Sam Howell's playing or not, but I like UNC here. What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, Sam Howell played. I'm going UNC. If that changes, I think this changes very quickly. Yeah. But I'm going to stick with him. He kind of got shortchanged with a lot of talent leaving, unfortunately, last year.
Yeah.
Yep. Same for me. UNC. They've high scoring offense. I don't think there's any way South Carolina keeps out. I mean, they're another team that's been feeding off of bottom feeders in the SEC.
I'm honestly surprised they got to 6-6.
Yep.
Yeah. Music City Bowl. We got Purdue, the Giant Slayer this year. They upset Iowa and upset Michigan State, correct? They went 8-4 out of the Big Ten, going against Tennessee, 7-5 out of the SEC. I like the Boilermakers in this one. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I got Purdue as well. Even though Hendon Hooker has really done well down there in Knoxville, I just think Purdue is the better all-around team, both sides of the bowl.
Yeah, I do too, but I'm kind of going on a limb here and thinking Karloff doesn't play, so I'm going to go the other way. That's what I picked Tennessee.
There you go.
It probably is a low-scoring game because of that.
Yeah. Las Vegas Bowl, Wisconsin 8-4 out of the Big Ten against Arizona State, 8-4 out of the Pac-12. I mean, the Big Ten was far more competitive than the Pac-12 this year, and for that reason alone, I like the Badgers here to win the Las Vegas Bowl. What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, Wisconsin's a better team, just top to bottom, in my opinion. So going them and in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, Wisconsin for me as well. They really turned the season around, made it look like they were a Big Ten competitor all along.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep buzzing through a few more so we can get a little more conversation in
just a
here
couple
later. Yeah, just a couple more. Boy, this is a long list. This is a long list. Tax Slayer Bowl. We got Wake Forest, runner-ups in the ACC this year against Texas A&M, who really didn't meet expectations this year. I think they finished at number 5 at the end of last year, and a lot of people had them picked to make it to the playoffs. But 8-4 out of the SEC. They did have the big win over Alabama. Maybe next year, the next couple of years is going to be some really big years for Texas A&M. They say they got some really good recruits coming in. They got a good coach. Talking about this game individually, I think Texas A&M is going to beat Wake Forest. Where you at, Eric?
Yep, rematch of the 2017 Boca Bowl, which I got to go to. Similar game, I'm sure to that. It was probably going to be the same scoring, 55, 52, something along there. But I think A&M comes out on top this time, just because of their defense.
Yeah.
Yep. A&M has a bright future. Unfortunately, I think the season's a disappointment. I'm going to go Wake Forest.
There you go. All right, moving on. We got, I believe this one's the Barstool Arizona Bowl game,
Okay.
right? The list I was looking at, it wasn't, but we got Central Michigan 8-4 out of the MAC against Boise State 7-5 out of the Mountain West. I'm going with the Broncos here. Mountain West team, solid program. Where you at, Randy?
Solid conference. I'm going Boise State too.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close one.
You have to.
I don't expect like a really exciting game if you want the 50-point games. I don't think this is the one you watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going Boise State as well. They had a couple late game collapses early in the season against Oklahoma State, which kind of would have made Boise State look a lot better than they are right now. So let's go Boise State.
Perfect. We got the Tony the Tiger Bowl. Both teams are great. We got Miami 7-5 out of the ACC. They just lost their head coach. Got a new guy coming in. Is Mario Cristobal? Is he going to coach this game? You suppose?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No? Okay. Going against Washington State, and their interim head coach's name escapes my mind, but I believe he got the job, and he's done pretty great after they lost their coach because he didn't want to wear a mask. But I like Washington State winning this game.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I think Borhe leads them to a win, and I'm done with these names of these bowl games, bro. Can we get to the? Thank God we're done with all these because it's been so bad.
I know we're getting there. We're close. We're close, man.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Washington State as well. I think it was Diaz put out a kind of concerning statement there. He was a little upset about what happened there in the coaching situation and how he got fired. So I think that's probably stirring up a lot of drama in the locker room right now. So for that only reason, I'm going Washington State.
Perfect. Okay. Some of the tougher matchups here. We got the Outback Bowl, Penn State. They were looking great at the beginning of the season. I just said great with made too much emphasis again. I'm sorry. Penn State was looking really good at the beginning of the season. And then they're going against Arkansas, who's been, for me, there's some teams in the SEC like Arkansas, Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M that have kind of been a coin flip all year, especially in some of those SEC matchups. But Arkansas did have some good wins here and there. But I'm still going to go with Penn State in this game. What do you think, Eric?
I'm going to go Arkansas. Penn State lost their defensive coordinator, Pry, so to Tech. Yeah. And then Arkansas, KJ Jefferson rarely turns the ball over, which is what Penn State relies on so heavily with that defense. So, yeah, Arkansas.
I'm going to go Penn State in a really close, weird scoring game.
Sure.
I think Penn State's basically the Seahawks of this college football where it's always just an awkward score.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have one of those games just kind of grind it out.
Sure.
It's just the team. Both these teams, I believe, have like 3 losses each against teams that are in the New Year's Six Bowls too, so they've been beat up by teams.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be 9-9 at half. That Seahawks game a couple weeks ago. Yeah. All right, Citrus Bowl. We got number 15 Iowa, runner up in the Big Ten this year. They went 10-3, going against number 22 Kentucky, who I think really surprised a lot of people, especially because they play in the SEC and they were undefeated up until week. Was it 6, I think, maybe, when they played against Alabama, I believe. But they had a pretty good year. And they've been playing some exciting football. They got 3 great guys on offense. They haven't been off the charts with their numbers, but they've been pretty consistent. And I think it'd be really nice to see Kentucky win a bowl game here. Not that I want to hate on Iowa, but I'd like to see the Wildcats win this one.
Yeah, I'm going Kentucky as well. I think Iowa's been slumping here, and they got a little overvalued with that Iowa State blowout. So Kentucky.
I'm gonna go Iowa. This defense and this turnover margin that they had, I think it's like plus 13 or something ridiculous. If Kentucky can score 24 points, I think they win. But I'm just gonna give it to Iowa.
Perfect. Texas Bowl, we got K-State 7-5 out of the Big 12 against LSU, who has been a wild ride this year, 6-6 out of the SEC. Eric, who do you like in this one?
Kansas State, Max Johnson's out of this one because of the coaching.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas State too. I think Vaughn just carries him. He's like 1,300 yards, like 14, 15 touchdowns. I think he just dominates.
Yep, I'm with you guys. K-State. Okay, we're at basically the end of our podcast here, and we're just getting to the meat of the conversation. So don't ever try to go through all the bowl games in one show because it's not easy. But
other stuff too.
Yeah, to be continued. So we'll fire through these ones really quick. We're at the New Year's 6 bowl games, which is kind of confusing because 2 of those 6 games are now in the playoffs. So we might need to think of some new terminology here. But we'll start off with the Peach Bowl. We got Michigan State playing against Pitt. Eric, who do you like here, man?
Pitt. I think Kenny Pickett will probably play this one just because it means a lot. So let's go Pitt.
Nice, Randy.
Same thing. I think it's nowhere close. If Pickett doesn't play, I think Michigan State just absolutely dominates. They've had a really good year. But I think both him and Walker play this because they're not like can't miss prospects, top 5, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They need to keep showing now, and I think Pickett has a chance at another Heisman moment. Unfortunately, it's going to be too late.
Right. Yep. I'm with you guys too. I like Pitt here. I like the following the momentum. I mean, it's going to be a few weeks since they're winning the ACC championship game, but follow the momentum there. Fiesta Bowl down in Glendale. We got number 5 Notre Dame against number 9 Oklahoma State. Randy, we'll start with you, man.
Sorry, I think sorry, there we go. Something like popped up on my screen from StreamYard, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Oh,
I think it was just shocked we're still going.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I think this team rallies around their new coach and fights for a big win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Oklahoma State. I'm unconvinced about Notre Dame, especially now without Kelly, and it took a lot of luck for Notre Dame to get to this point in the season. Should have probably lost to Toledo. Should have probably lost to Tech. So I have to go Oklahoma State because of that short field defense they were able to play last weekend.
Yeah. I got Notre Dame here. I mean, they fell just short of making the playoffs. I mean, just because of the right teams didn't lose essentially. But they this second half of the season they've been playing some really great football, and that running game has been electric. I mean, I know Oklahoma State's got a solid defense, but obviously they've been exposed by Baylor. And I think Notre Dame's going to be able to find ways to take advantage of them. Rose Bowl. Got Ohio State here going against Utah. This should be pretty exciting. Obviously, Ohio State just fell short of being able to make it to the playoffs with that second loss on the year. And then Utah's really come alive here at the end of the season too. Randy, who do you like, man?
I got to go Ohio State. They have just too much firepower. Even if like Wilson and Olave decide not to play in this one, there's no way like Stroud and Henderson and Smith and Jigba and everyone sits out. I think they're going to try and end strong here and kind of make a statement that shows like they slipped up, they screwed up, but they should have been in.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Utah here. Let's go back to momentum.
Interesting.
That Michigan loss had to be pretty demoralizing. And I think there'll be some opt-outs. Like you said, there is a lot of firepower, but I'm still going to take Utah. They look too good past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, sorry. Realistically, Utah can follow the same game plan that Michigan had with their talent that they have on defense and kind of a bruising running style. So, I mean, they're showing some weakness in Ohio State's defense and offense to that extent to what Utah can bring to the table. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And, with it being roughly a month since both their last games, I think Ohio State's got plenty of time to lick their wounds and regather their pride here. And we know how tough they are. Obviously, they slumped off twice this year. And I think for the most part, they have reapproved themselves 10 times over, and I think they'll get this game over Utah. Sugar Bowl, Baylor had that big win in the Big 12 championship going against Ole Miss, number 8. They went 10-2 out of the SEC. Randy, we'll start with you, man. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I'm going Ole Miss. I think I've pretty much just picked top draft prospects this whole time, but I'm going to do it again. It sounds all signs are pointing that Krause play, and I think he finishes his college career strong and gives himself a shot to be drafted in the top 10. It's a weak quarterback class, but the value is still there for the position.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Baylor here. I think Krause needs maybe one interception, and Mississippi's defense can't stop anything after that. So
fair.
Baylor it is.
Yeah.
It's really fair.
I really like this game. I think this one's going to be pretty exciting. It's a fun matchup. I'm going to go with the Baylor Bears here. I think they're going to get the win over Ole Miss. Okay. We're into the playoffs. We're only 5 minutes over our normal hour, so we'll rifle through these guys really quick too.
It's a big day. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull you, so you're good. Who gives
Okay, first one's first. We got the Cotton Bowl. Number 1, Alabama had that big SEC championship win against Georgia that we all talked about already. And number 5, Cincinnati, the only undefeated team that we've talked about all night. Coming out of the American, they just won their conference championship against Houston, the first G5 school to get a bid into the playoffs. Eric, we'll start with you, man. Who do you like?
I'm going to go Alabama. It's very, very hard to pick against Alabama in this situation, but I do think the spread is 13.5. I think you should pick to Cincinnati cover that. It is a veteran team that should have beat Georgia last year in that bowl game. So I'm going to go Alabama, though, just because I can't pick them to lose. But in the future, I think Cincinnati is a Big 12. Once they're in the Big 12, they'll be a perennial into this competition.
Yep.
I want to pick Cincy. I really do, but I'm going to go Bama. I think Sauce Gardner has a chance to make himself a ton of money in this game, especially with Matt Giardi, obviously, with the ACL injury. If they can slow down Williams, it's not just Sauce there, but that whole secondary could make a ton of money in this year's draft, depending on this game. And if they can shut down him, which has really been their offense of late, it's going to be a really close game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Bama's going to win this game. I think Cincinnati deserves to make the playoffs. I like them at the number 4 spot. Obviously they went undefeated throughout the regular season into the conference championship game, but you have to keep in mind there is a significant difference between these Power 5 and G5 conferences, with the level of competition, but Cincinnati still deserves to be where they're at. Some people think that they just had the one win over Notre Dame, and then sure, they beat another ranked opponent in the conference championship game, but they're a really tough program, and it's going to take more than a really tough program to beat Alabama, especially with Alabama. This is just a normal trip for them, right, going into the playoffs, and this is Cincinnati's first time there. I got the Crimson Tide winning this one. Orange Bowl. Number 2, Michigan, playing against number 3, Georgia. Michigan just coming off of Big Ten championship. Georgia coming off of losing the SEC championship game to the team we just talked about, Alabama. Randy, we'll start with you on this one, man.
This is going to be a 3-point game, in my opinion. I don't think Georgia can run away. I'm going to pick Georgia. I think this defense has a bounce back week after last week, after 3 quarters of last week at least. I think this rush defense can do some work, which is really what's carried Michigan throughout the season. They're not going to win it through the air. So I think Georgia can do just enough to stay in it and hopefully stave off Hutchinson as best they can, man.
Yeah.
And even if you do that, Chavez on the other side. So, as long as Georgia can run the ball a little, I think they could win it.
Yep.
I'm going to go Michigan. I just think, that rush defense is too good. There's no way they can run the ball down their throats. So it's going to be all passing, and Michigan's not too bad in the secondary. So, Georgia it didn't look good at all last weekend. So that, I guess I can't overvalue that game, of course, but I just not impressed.
Arguably, everyone after that game is saying, well, Georgia hasn't really played anyone until they played Bama.
Yep.
Well, you can't say that about Michigan. So
yep.
if that's our gauge for this game, Michigan's the battle-tested one. And I mean, I have it like 24-21 Georgia. So there's Michigan has every chance to win this.
Yep. Yeah, I like the Wolverines here. I think Michigan's going to get the win. I think that Georgia defense has finally been exposed, and Michigan's got a whole month to watch film and to figure out how they're going to re-expose them and take advantage of that. And then they're just going to let their defense play how it has all year. So I'm with you, Randy. I think it'll be a tight game, but I just think Michigan's going to beat Georgia here.
I have a prop bet here as well, real quick. I'm going to say that JT Daniels will start the second half for Georgia.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see. We'll see.
I just think it'll be low scoring in the first half.
Yeah.
It probably will. I mean, Michigan, I mean, even last week didn't have a great start, and I would definitely say this Georgia defense is better than Iowa's. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, 44.5 over under on that one, and Georgia's favored by 9 right now.
That is a close line from all of our kind of scores that we gave.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get into a bit more of a fictitious conversation here. Randy, you picked Alabama and Georgia to win. So who do you think is going to win the national championship then?
I would then.
Oh, did we lose Randy?
Yeah, I think we might have lost Randy.
I'm going to give it.
Oh, there he went. All right, Eric, you picked Bama and Michigan. So who do you think is going to win the
I'm
national
going to have to go with Bama. This would be a game I really would not like to see. I really don't like either of these teams, but
yeah,
I guess I've set myself up to have to pick this. So yeah, you can't bet against Bama.
Yeah. Randy, we lost you right when you started talking.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Bama again.
Yeah.
31-27, so a much closer game. I think Georgia comes back swinging, but at that point, I'm going to take the quarterback and take probably the Heisman quarterback, Bryce Young.
Yeah, it's tough because it just seems like the same old story, right? Talking about Alabama winning the national championship and even having two SEC teams in the playoffs alone. It's understandable, but at the same time, it's almost boring, right? Like you don't like seeing it year over year, but it's really nice to see some change here, especially with the G5 team making it and in a Big Ten school. Do you guys remember offhand who was the last Big Ten school to make the playoffs? Anybody?
Michigan State.
Was it probably three years ago?
Oh wait, Ohio State
last year.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we're at the tail end of this podcast.
We've got 12 minutes over.
Yeah,
I've been up way too late, but just to be different than my friends here, because we will keep score. I'll have to rewatch all this and then tally. I'll make Adam watch all this and then tally what everybody picked. So just to be different than you guys, for the sake of the competition, I'm going to pick Michigan to win. But either way, whoever gets there, I think it's going to be a really fun game.
I think either way, I think it's going to be a good narrative, like a storyline narrative, because either Michigan or Cincinnati makes it, great for them, or we get this matchup and Georgia's got to prove himself now, and Bama's going to stave off that kind of competition. I would definitely love to see Cincinnati or Michigan win this. There's a lot of paths where they don't, and that's kind of the issue for me there.
Right.
I mean, Alabama's won some very ugly games against teams they were supposed to smack. So this would be the year that Cincinnati very well could win that matchup.
I at least for that game, I hope it's close, because if they lose by like the line that's predicted and maybe even more because of last second touchdown or something, I don't think a group of 5 team gets a chance there again.
Right.
This is the year they had the chance, and I think they have to show why they're there, and they have the talent. They do.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys, we did it. We made it through. We even talked about the national championship game, so that was 43 games that we talked about. So we went through it pretty quick. In hindsight, if starting with the conference championship games at the beginning of this episode here, I would have just left that part out, because that wasn't even that fun to talk about, because that was that all already happened. So it's but both of you, thank you guys. Neither one of you guys are normal guys on this show. Randy, I think we had you back on like week 2. So that was like 13 weeks ago that you came on. And
I think me and Christian did the debut episode, actually, if I remember right.
Yeah, we missed the first week.
Oh, that's right.
We missed the first week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
so it's good to have you back. I haven't talked to you since then, so it's really good to have you back. I've been keeping up with you on some fantasy football leagues here and there, but
it's
really good to have you back, man.
Yeah, glad to be back. I love talking college football. I know me and Christian show relatively quick here. The main cut show is going to switch a lot to draft content, and we'd love to have you and Adam on for that. And possibly Eric even too as well. We get very heavy in the draft process, and I'm very excited. I think that's why a lot of these picks were draft prospects that are just going to be staring at the whole game. I'm just so excited these juicy matchups, especially for the quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Eric, was this your first time doing a sports podcast? Or I know you do a lot of media stuff, but
I do probably. This is definitely my first, definitely long form podcast. I've done a couple like small ones, but yeah, this is definitely like the most like I feel like real podcast. I don't know if that makes sense.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you took the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And one last thing is I will make a 43 game parlay with all my picks, and I'll put $1 on it.
There we go.
You guys can do the same if betting comes legal.
Worst case, do it all for like the CBS, the ESPN. They always have like the pick'ems or confidence picks. So might as well put all these in there for that. Maybe we could form a league with Adam and Christian maybe and try and see who wins best in that. But
yeah, that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. All right, we are now 16 minutes over, so we got to wrap this bad boy up. I'm Jerred Terrell for Randy Hall. For Eric.
Quickly, Eric, is there anything you want to plug or anything you want to promote?
No, nothing to promote. Just Butler Athletics, I guess. I run their social media for the basketball team. So yeah, Saturday we got a game. So follow me along on there. That's about it.
Right on, man. Perfect. All right, I'm Jerred Terrell for Randy Hall and Eric Young. Thanks for tuning in to the College Football Cut, part of the Cut Podcast Network, and we'll see you next week.